Good morning, this is Dan with Green Machine Outdoors. Thanks for tuning back into our channel. Follow along today as we take you on a trip on the James River, chasing down some big catfish, looking for the trophy fish in a new kayak. Alright, we've made it upriver. It's pretty easy today, which is nice because I'm fishing in the morning and there's an outgoing tide, so instead of fighting that, I got to use the Sportsman 106 Minn Kota. It's got a nice trolling motor with the throttle built in. So my trip upriver this morning was pretty relaxing. I used it to catch up on some videos, check some email, and next thing you know, I'm up at my spot. I set the net once at the boat ramp. I brought some bluegill with me. They're live. I'll throw them down that way. I have one big gizzard shad. I'm going to set the net again now that I've made the trip up to my spot. And then we're going to spend the morning drifting and potentially dragging some baits down the edge of the river where I've been having a lot of luck lately. So hopefully that continues now that we figured out that pattern. We'll let you know when the action happens. All right, so we are set up and we are drifting. We've got two big live gizzard shad on the back two rods. And up front, we've got two medium-sized bluegill, so hopefully we've got an offering for everybody. All right, we've got our first taker of the morning on a bluegill. Didn't take long, about 20 minutes with the rods in the water. So pull the boat around a little bit. Look at that rod bend over. That's nice. We are in some deep water here. I'll take my time. Oh boy, I love when that happens. Good sized fish wrapped up in a couple lines. That doesn't help. Gonna be interesting to land. I don't know if you saw that. We just had a bird fly by and give us a show. Nice thing about this boat is it's got a landing rod here, or a landing rod holder. It helps manage fish. This will be the first fish in this boat. Good little chunk. Gonna make a mess of everything. Now we've got our hands full here. We've got another good fish hooked up. One in the boat. Gotta love a good double. I don't want to keep this guy out of the water too long. I gotta get a length on him and get him back. So I'll probably let this guy tire himself out right here for a minute in a rod holder I can trust so I know where he's not going to go anywhere. All right, so that's a nice fish for you to start the day off. Not a bad way. Oh. And there goes the third rod. So we've got three fish on here. That looks like a good one. Real quick, 33 inches, 18.3 pounds. Got my hands full, I'll be back. All right, there's fish number two. About to knock my measuring board in the water. Oh man. All right, there's fish number two. Exactly 33 inches again. This time only 17 pounds. Ready to get out of here. She left a mess in this boat. It stinks. We're gonna clean that up and then manage this guy. All right, now we're gonna manage that back left rod. I quickly brought it over to the left side of the boat. Easier to land over here. This one hit like a freight train. You probably saw that in the background of the video. He's gonna pull real good too. He's taking the boat for a sleigh ride. Tripling up in the 106. That's a good way to break in a kayak. Hopefully it's always got this kind of luck. I might have to make it my new fishing rig. Tell you what, I've only got one bait in the water. If it's even still there, I haven't been able to keep track of it with all this action. But I'm gonna go re-rig and go back up to the top of that hole and float back through. See if they've got any more friends. The good thing is, while this one was hooked up and I was dealing with the other fish, he did wear himself out a little, but he's still fighting really good, all things considered. Probably the best one of the day so far. That's a big fish. Looks like it might be a male too. He's not ready. I gotta loosen this drag before he breaks me off. So he's gonna take some of it. I won't be able to manage this fish unless he gets good and tired, so we're gonna let him do just that. Just love when those rod tips bend right over into the water like that. That's a nice big fish. He's not hooked all too great either, so I'm gonna have to be careful landing him. So we're gonna use the landing rod holder and get my gloves on. Get everything nice and set for this big boy. All right, let's get him in here. It's time. It is time. And lost him. You've got to be kidding me. That's never easy. That's the biggest fish of the group. Definitely over 40 inches. Just about to put my hand in his mouth, turned his head, lost the hook. He only had just the tip of it in there, and that's why. Caught a scale, probably pushed it right through and never really got hooked all that good. Oh, that's tough. We're gonna go try that one again. Although I'm sure he won't be interested in any baits for a day or two. Okay, we're back at the top of our drift right where we started this morning. We're gonna run that stretch again. It's just been super hot. I can't help but pass it through one more time. Just about out of live bait. Actually, I am out of live bait. I've got one down there, but he's just barely alive. So hopefully he's at least bouncing around a little bit to look like he's alive, but I don't think that's gonna work. I've got cut shad on the rest of my lines, except for this one's got 2 bluegill heads that I chopped up earlier. So I'll let those out for a little bit. If they don't get hits, either one of these two with the bluegill on them, I'm gonna swap out to some cut shad and see if that produces. Right at the top of our hole, there it goes again. He's trying to run right up river. Just a little guy, but it's been a minute. Actually, that's not the smallest fish in the world. I just dropped my rods down another 2 or 3 feet because I realized the bottom had dropped a little bit. And no sooner I was working on my other 3 rods and this one went down. Halfway decent fish. Now I have learned my lesson. I better manage him quick, so I'm ready in case these other 3 rods go down. Alright, so here's this girl. Lots of female fish today. Just lost that one big male. That's going to be a 34.5-inch fish, and she measured 22.5 pounds. Let's get her back in the water and get her on her way. Just not quite ready yet. She's pretty lethargic on the fight, so maybe she's real tired already, as it is. We'll let her take her time. Here she goes. See you later. I had one sneak up on me here. Or on this back rod. Either that or I picked up something I'm dragging along. But that rod is just acting funny. That's why I can barely tell what's going on. I thought I'm dragging bottom, but just taking this guy for a ride down the river. All right, get out of here. All right, well, I think I'm gonna pack up and move down river a little bit, heading back towards the boat ramp. I've pretty much exhausted this little stretch of river for the day. I drifted through that hole about 3 or 4 times. And I get hooked up. I'll deal with him later. I'm still gonna move though. Just catching dinks now. I think the big bites died off for the morning, at least in that spot, or I've at least been through there enough where it's kind of shut down for now. I'll come back to it another day before I wear it out too bad. There's a spot up here where there's a barge pit that opens up. I'm gonna go drift through there a little bit. I caught a really big fish, 45.75 inches. Didn't get a weight on him, so I'd love to go back through there and see if he has any friends hanging out. All right, well, while I'm moving spots down to another drift spot on the right that's been productive for me with some structure and a barge pit opening, I will walk through this Old Town 106 with Minn Kota motor built in. I know it's a pretty popular boat right now, that and the autopilot boats that they released. Personally, I went with this one. I think the value of it's fantastic, and since it's not going to be my main fishing boat anyway, it serves a really clear purpose for me, which I'll make another video talking about my boats and why I went the way I did. I'm coming from a Topwater 120 PDL and a Predator PDL, so quite a bit different having a motor. It's nice. I got a lot done on the trip up this morning. I got email done, rigged up some rods, got my weights hooked up, and I could have cut bait up while I was going, but instead I just sat around and watched a couple videos, so it makes it nice, that's for sure. And the other thing that's really nice about it is it's basically flush mount. Not perfectly, you've got your hatch sticking up right here, but it's basically flush in here. I'm used to having the big pedal drive in there, so no matter what you're doing, it's sometimes in the way. It's not horrible, but it's noticeable, and you've got to work around it and get used to it. The nice thing about this boat is I've got a 60-inch measuring board for when I land some really big catfish. That thing lays across there perfect. I can open it up all the way, no problems whatsoever. Really nice open platform, handles well. I had some boats fly by me way too close, didn't have an issue with the waves, no problem. You know, there's really no complaints here. If it's on your list, or if you're looking for a new kayak, I suggest looking into this and seriously considering it. The price point is fantastic. Let me know if you have any questions, drop them down in the comment box below. Happy to talk about the boat and how it handles. Let's put a monster into it. All right, here's an interesting test to see how closely you're paying attention. Examine the picture frame right now. If you notice what's different, go ahead and comment down below. I'll give you a little time to go ahead and do that. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'll give you a hint. I could use somebody with scuba diving skills. Why? There used to be a rod and reel right here. I was just drifting past this point that I showed you, got a massive hit. In the blink of an eye, ripped everything right off the boat. Rod holder, reel, rod, gone. I even had a paddle leash or a leash on it, ripped it right out of the leash. Gone. I think that's another one gone to the James River. Double heartbreak on the day.